Good evening and welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. I am back again. The boys are back again. Someone's missing though. Someone conveniently has been having some technical difficulties before we started this stream, some really bad network lag. But
bit like
look,
Chelsea this morning.
yeah, mate, they had some serious network lag. But one thing we know about RJ is he'll front up. He'll be here. He's coming. Don't panic. You're going to see the Chelsea cook-off tonight. Here he is. Let's chuck him in. Roscoe, you're back. You're looking sharp. The network's good. How are you, my man?
Oh, did you start, did you? I didn't know you went live.
Yeah, we're here.
Thanks for being punctual, so I did not want to hold you guys up. Buzzing, always here. Win, lose or draw, we got to be here. What can I say? I know you're looking forward to this one, mate, so ready to enjoy.
Robbie, how are you?
Look, mate, yesterday, obviously, disaster class, I was probably the worst, but I can't help but being excited, mate. Look, exciting news 10 minutes ago. We officially got a new manager for next season. So, look, mate, that's what United love to do when everything's bad and the fans are getting the shits, like they announced Ten Hag to sweep it under the carpet. Look, it's worked on me. I'm excited.
Oh, look, a new manager always brings about optimism and excitement. And you look at a lot of the clubs this season who have relieved managers of their duties, they've all been better for it. So, look, I couldn't see how you guys get any worse at this point for who you are and the squad you've got. So I'm sure he'll come in and it'll be exciting for you guys. But let's cover what we're going to do tonight. First of all, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button on the video, subscribe as well. We're here 2 nights a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. But tonight we're going to cover the fixtures that were, the fixtures that will be, because there are so many to get through this weekend. And we're going to talk about a couple of things: the Premier League Hall of Fame, Ten Hag to Manchester United, the decline of Chelsea Football Club. No, look, let's get straight into it. Let's start with you guys, Robbie. I know you don't want to go too deep into it because this is a recurring theme. We're saying the same thing every week. But you were humbled, as we were, by Liverpool. Quick thoughts.
Look, mate, on our side, no heart, no spine, gutless performance. And that's the worst thing about it, mate. I don't mind. Look, it's hard to even say this. Losing to Liverpool is one thing, because like I said, the form they're in and the form we're in, it's just completely opposite. But to go into a game like this, a massive derby for us, you got to get up for it. And we just looked dead on our feet. Pogba walked off after 10 minutes, injured. Didn't look like he wanted to be there. Done the same in the first game. I think it was 4 minutes we conceded a goal. And what did I say to everyone the other week? I'm scared we're going to concede an early goal. And I said 3-0, ended up being 4. And, over the season, the 2 games, the aggregate's 9-0, mate. So it's just, a game like that hurts no matter what. And, they were just brilliant. You can't say nothing. Credit to them. I just want to say a touch of class from the Liverpool fans as well. As much as I hate Liverpool, the 7th minute, applauding, the situation with Ronaldo is a touch of class. Doesn't matter who you are. So I really appreciate them.
Yeah.
There's not much else I can say, mate. We were shit and they were brilliant. That's all I can say in a full stop.
Mate, that seems to be the theme where whenever your team comes up against Liverpool, that you just sit here saying they're too good, quite frankly. So massive respect to Liverpool. A big result for them. One that could have been a speed bump, but they've overcome it as they have been. RJ, before I get your quick thoughts on that, just want to say hello to some of the people in the live chat. We've got Emad here. Good evening, Emad. Justin putting some stick on me already. Of course, you wouldn't miss it. I have to say, in the history of this podcast, I think I've missed 2, and that was one of them. So, I've not been in bad form. Alex is here in the house. Evening, Alex. Shano, massive clear out needed for Man United. Look, I don't think Robbie's going to fight you on that point, Shane. And Carlito, our pro club's all-rounder, the maestro himself. Welcome. RJ, any quick thoughts on Liverpool humbling United?
Yeah, I was expecting a better response. Rob, to his credit, called it. But it's just, I don't know. Without being a United fan, the fact that it's just acceptable now. It's almost predictable that they're going to get smashed there. It's less than a mid-table team at the moment. As a big club, it's a really sad decline. Hopefully your new manager comes in and gives you something to bounce back towards. But he's got a lot of work on his hands, and I know we'll talk about it. But Liverpool, too good at the right time of the season. You guys had it all to play for in terms of top 4, but they dished up that kind of display. And without Ronaldo, I know that's distraction, but some of the manner of those goals they conceded, like that one with Maguire pulled out of position so much. Some of the finishes
He was
were
at
fast,
fault
but-
at like 2.5 of those goals, Maguire. It's
yeah,
just,
I know. I know it's
I
not
hope
just one player, but geez, one player consistently that bad can really hurt you. And I'm speaking
100%.
from experience, obviously, this morning. But I don't know. It's just there's a big issue with that club, and I just don't know how one person's going to fix it. I know that they're going to say it takes years, but yeah, Liverpool just too good, and you got to take your hat off to them. And you guys got humbled, and that's just the way it goes.
That's it. Look, I mean, Ten Hag coming in. If you were him, Robbie, because while we're on Man United, it makes sense to talk about Ten Hag because that announcement just came out. Obviously, if you haven't seen that, Ten Hag announced as Manchester United's new manager from next season. Probably the worst kept secret of all time, to be completely fair. But what's the first 3 things you want to do if you're Ten Hag, Robbie?
From Ten Hag, first thing, honestly, is strip Maguire of captaincy. I think that's a really big thing that a lot of people will respect him for that because a lot of people are shocked that he is our captain, and especially some of his comments over the last few days and just his performance in general. He needs to be stripped. He might even perform better when he's got no captaincy or pressure on him like that. Just implement a system because I feel like we haven't had a system since Fergie. Every time someone's come in, it's just a circle and a circle and a circle. So I just hope that, and the biggest thing is the club needs to back him and the club needs to listen to him and, hopefully Ralph at the same time. And I said, it's not going to be overnight fix this thing. Could take years, but the club's done the first piece of the puzzle, right? In getting someone like him, who I think is a good, he's a good young manager. He's an up and riser. He's not someone that's over the hill like when we got a Van Gaal or when we got a Jose Mourinho. We've tried, the young, really fresh kind of legend when we had Oli. I think this guy said he's had, obviously just at Ajax, he's been in Champions League experience. He's, youth players he likes to bring in and implement into the system. So, again, he's ticking a lot of boxes that United would like. It's, again, a big job for him, but let's just give him, I'm going to back him and hopefully the best happens for us eventually one day.
Not sure if Emad's being sarcastic here. I can never tell with you, Emad. But you know what? Look, I think there are much worse managers, but you just never know. You never know how a manager's going to come into a club, how they're going to adapt to the structures, how they're going to make their mark. So all I can say is it can't be worse than the last 2 guys you had, to be fair, because Ralph has made Ollie look better than he was. So, look, let's move on. Before we talk about Chelsea and Arsenal, quick mention of some of the other results. Obviously, we have a lot of Newcastle fans who do tune in, Shano being one of them. A massive 3 points for Eddie Howe's boys and a banger of a goal. Did you catch any of that, RJ?
No, I didn't actually. I only the replays, that is. But yeah, cracking goal. And, we spoke about managers the other week. Eddie Howe doing some really good things with that club. And I think they're on 40 points now, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a pretty close game, even though they were conceding a lot of possession, but ultimately made it count. So, yeah, you just got to, again, take your hat off to what Eddie Howe's doing with that club at the moment.
Spot on, Robbie. I haven't asked you in a while. Are Newcastle going down?
Smart ass. No, look, I'll take my hat off to him, man. I had my humble pie a few weeks ago. The goal was absolutely beautiful goal from Miguel Almiron today. And look, I was actually looking at the table. Newcastle could get as best as 10th this season. Now, considering where they were and me saying they're going down, that's enormous. Well done to Eddie Howe.
I wonder, we don't need to answer this. It's probably a question for another pod, but when this guy has a full off season with the team, and we know they're going to strengthen in January, I wonder if they're going to be stepping up to where maybe you'd expect a Leicester to be and be competing for those European places. It'll be very interesting. I don't think next year they'll have a chance of being near the top 4, but you never know beyond that. European places won't be out of reach, I don't think.
Even a Conference League position next year, it would be massive for them.
Spot on, absolutely. They'd love it. Where a lot of the bigger clubs will thumb their noses at it. For Newcastle, it's a brilliant stepping stone. Look, let's speak about big clubs. Let's speak about humblings. Let's speak about a match to forget. RJ, I'm going to be on my best behaviour, I'm going to let you
Don't want
speak.
you to be, mate. You should feel 3 losses in a row to see what you want, mate. That's what you
Look,
should talk about.
I'm not going to interrupt you because for those that don't know, and this is my humble opinion, RJ has been so salty all day. I've been getting one-word responses. I've been getting emojis. I'm getting the yawning emoji. He's been really salty today. So I want to
You
let
got
him
the sarcastic part coming out of me. Give the full story, but not the Scott story.
I want to hear your thoughts on the game because, as Shano said, it was an unfortunate result for Chelsea. You were absolutely humbled. We're in your heads now. You know. It's
That's
like
it.
fighting your bigger brother.
It's
you're
like
scared.
that annoying little dog, the little club that hangs off your feet that you can't shake off. You know, all those little aspiring clubs that just hang around and give you those annoying results. But, you know, my thoughts are it was one of those random games, very chaotic end to end. Mistakes from both sides, a couple of really cheap goals, a couple of really nice ones. The Emile Smith-Rowe's finish was really, really well taken. Even Nketiah's one, which Christensen, he's already thinking about how he can hurt Barcelona when he goes there. But you've bagged him out a lot, Nketiah, and I think he took your criticism quite personally for this game, and credit where it's due, he performed quite well. Again, Emile Smith-Rowe was really class, and ironically came off the back of another mistake at the back, which almost burnt you guys, but you guys, gave us the old 1-2 sucker punch. But in the end, it was just a random set of events that happened. I can't quite put my finger on it because there was a lot of rotation, but there was enough quality there. It was just frustrating. And then the penalty at the end, it was just capped it off. It was just a terrible. Sorry?
It was a pen all day long.
I know you guys all think that. I know you got the 100% comments coming out, but it's a pen. It's not a pen. I don't care because the result was already locked up before then. We could have played for another 25 minutes and wouldn't have scored. So, look, not going to take it away from Arsenal. You guys weren't brilliant. You guys conceded a lot of chances. We just weren't good enough to put them away. And we gifted you a few goals. And that's just how it goes. It was more desperate. You were more desperate here. We've got a big cushion in third spot. But to your credit, you dug in there and you got the result in the end. So we just take the L and move forward.
And look, yeah, but you know what? And this isn't me taking the mick. Well, maybe it is a little bit.
Take it, mate.
I don't think from your perspective it's, and I'm talking for Chelsea fans, right? I don't think it's as simple as we just had a bad game, we move on, because this is now turning into a bad patch of form for you guys. Knocked out of the Champions League. You're going to get done in the
FA Cup final.
You're going to get done by Liverpool. We all know that's coming. We've just cooked you. We're in your heads. As Piliqueta fighting with fans in the crowd, Thomas Tuchel's looking like he doesn't know what to do with this team. Mate, I don't think all's well. We've still obviously got the uncertainty.
I think you're painting a very different picture to what's happening in reality because you're highlighting the fact that our form is actually not good when it actually is. We've won more than we've lost recently. We've lost 2 in our last 3, but 1 3 out of our last 5. So how far back's your sample size? We're in the FA Cup final. You're speculating about what might happen against Liverpool.
It's going to happen.
We got knocked out in the Champions League to an extra time goal. So I don't know. I don't buy into all that chaos. And the fact is, we're a club that's in the middle of an ownership situation where I fully applaud all the players and what Tuchel's doing. I expect the banana skin results. And that's why, like Andrew said, it's the inconsistency. Absolutely spot on. That's why we're not top 2 at the moment. We want to be there. We've got too many distractions. We're not quite good enough. We're a good cup team. I'll give us that. We're a pretty good cup team. But given the 38-game grind, we've still got a lot to be desired. And I'm actually more concerned about the player contract situation. First resolve the owners, then we know what we're dealing with. We've got players like Rudiger off contract, Christensen, Thiago Silva's 37, both Kante and Jorginho, their contracts run out next season. So we've got some really big decisions to make. And then, of course, the old elephant in the room is that £100 million sunk cost up front who's not delivering. So hopefully the new owners come in and say, that was the money spent under the old regime. We need to get the broom and clear out house because we need to get back to chasing the title. So I'm more worried about the bigger ticket themes than this isolated loss. But who knows? I know you'd be happy. Of course you would be.
Oh,
London is red. London is red today, but London is blue permanently, my friend. So accept the win.
Look, just quickly for me to wrap up my end, because obviously this is a big match, and I haven't really spoke too much about Arsenal. Mikel Arteta and I, this has been my criticism of him since day one. It sometimes takes him too long to do what everyone else can see he should do. We played players in their natural positions this morning. We didn't have a centre mid playing at left back. We didn't have, strikers playing out on the wing. We played players in their natural position. He brought El Neni into the middle with Granit Xhaka. And you know what you're going to get from El Neni. He's just going to pass it cleanly, no razzle-dazzle. He's just a safe player. He's got experience. We put two centre mids. Tavares played on the left. Eddie Nketiah got a rare opportunity at the front, and he scored. He should be motivated because he doesn't have a team for next season. And he's not going to be someone who's in high demand unless he starts doing this regularly. I wouldn't sign him up. I wouldn't give him a contract. But for him on his CV and to make himself attractable, putting Chelsea defenders on ice skates and humiliating them is a good thing for him because he did put them on skates. They didn't know what to do with him.
It was good pressure from him, wasn't it? He's a hungry worker, and that's the difference between someone like him who's got no backing. He's just someone that's trying to find their feet, and he worked his butt off, unlike the other guy who's established and is supposed to be a world beater. He doesn't have the right work rate, doesn't have the right attitude and tenacity, and you can tell. I actually said to you a few weeks ago, why doesn't Odegaard and Emile Smith-Rowe start together? And you were saying, but Odegaard's in good form, Emile Smith-Rowe coming off the bench. And I like when them two are on the field together. There's just something a little bit more dangerous and potent about that team. I know it's not for every game, but they're your better players and they should be starting.
Spot on. All right, boys, let's move on a little bit because there's so much to talk about tonight. We had the announcement this afternoon, of the players being inducted into the Hall of Fame. We obviously knew about Patrick Vieira. We knew about Wayne Rooney going in. But the other six guys going in, your man, Didier Drogba, can see that scarf there. We've got Vincent Kompany, Sergio Aguero, Man City representatives, Schmeichel and Scholes, and Ian Wright. So some quality players, no one there. As we said when we looked at the list, you can't disagree with any of the guys on the list because they're all there on merit. It's just narrowing it down, and I'm happy with that list. I think it's a good list. Boys, any comments on that?
Yeah, I'm pretty, like I said, if we go back, I'm pretty sure out of the six of them, after the two we knew, I think I got five of them. So I think pretty, they all go in for me. The only one I was surprised didn't get a shout was Ashley Cole. I really thought he might have been in this next lot. But look, everyone now I think is much deserved. I even said the only one I didn't pick that I said was in for a shout was Ian Wright because I said, when he was at Palace and what he done at Arsenal, I thought was amazing. And, what he done for the club and his goal scoring record was enough to say. And I think he is a legend of the game. So happy enough for them all to be there.
Spot on. RJ, you'd be happy to see Didier Drogba in there?
Yeah, but I'm not fully satisfied that Vincent Kompany gets over there over John Terry. Obviously, that's the bias coming in, of course. But he's a quality player. I don't know, man. It's no disrespect to Kompany because he's top shelf, right up there. But I would just love to know why him over him. Whereas I'm happy with everyone. Even like I could accept Schmeichel over Czech because of the volume of titles, etc. But that one there just doesn't sit right with me. Terry not getting in. I wonder if there's something else.
Was it a fan vote for the next six? Were they voted by fans?
I think so. I don't know if it's just purely on volume, because if it is, then that's the straightforward answer. But I don't know. I know it's not the end of it, and the next batch will come in. But ultimately, you look at that list, and it's like hard to argue too much. Ashley Cole's a good shout, but I've even got the other names just out of interest. Like some of the others that missed out, your Rio Ferdinands, your Andy Coles.
Yeah,
there's some top players. Even Leticia, like we said, Scott. There's some quality players who missed out.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm shocked that Schmeichel got in there over Rio Ferdinand. John Terry missing out. To me, look, I couldn't stand John Terry, but I think he should have been in there.
He's on our show next week, Scott. You better change your attitude, mate.
No, mate, I'll fight him. I don't care.
I bet.
I would have put him in over company as well. But look, one thing you can say is they are joining some elite company, and there's some quality players, and all are deserving. Like we said, it's not saying these guys don't deserve to be there. It's just saying there are some others who probably deserve it as well. So, yeah, exciting times. Exciting times. I'm going to stop sharing that. Boys, we are going to look at some fixtures coming up. We'll do some quickfire predictions. Manchester United and Arsenal are playing on Saturday night, so we might leave that one till right at the end because obviously Robbie and I want to share our views and curious to hear yours, RJ. Yeah, mate, that's what your team's defence did for me this morning.
Sure, mate.
Put me to sleep. But let's have a look at these fixtures. I'm going to share my screen. We've got a lot to get through. Live chat, if you want to jump in and share some of your predictions too, feel free. We always love to see them. But don't just put the score, put the team name so we know which fixture it's saw. Burnley Southampton up first. What do you think about this one, RJ?
Yeah, tough one. Burnley, they're in the mud, aren't they, at the moment? They really need to start getting some wins on the board. I don't know. I'm not convinced, though. Like, I know the new manager bounce, all that rubbish, but I still think Southampton are going to give them a real tough run for their money. I am going to lock in a 1-1 draw. It's going to be tight for me.
For me, Southampton will take this one. I'm going with 2-1 to Southampton. What about you, Robbie?
Yeah, 2-1 Southampton for me. I agree. I don't think they're going to get much of a bounce, and they're really in the deep end, Burnley. So I think too much quality from Southampton. I think they'll 2-1.
Easy. RJ, if any fan predictions come in the comments, you might have to put them up because I've lost that part of my screen. But I've got the rest. I've got the rest of it. Boys, did you speak on Tuesday because my connection was in and out? I don't think you mentioned Sean Dyche, did you?
We didn't.
We didn't really talk about that. Stone Cold Sean Dyche.
I would love a penny for your thoughts on the sacking of Sean Dyche because for me, I was stunned when I saw that. Absolutely stunned. Were you shocked, Robbie?
Shocked that it's happened now. I thought that, obviously if they went down next year, then fair enough, there's a question to be had. Even though he's been there for like 10 years, he's brought them up and down. But yeah, I guess, if it happened at the end of the year, it would have made a little bit more sense. But now it's really panic stations. To throw someone in there with 4 or 5 games to go, like I reckon it's a pretty crazy decision.
RJ, your thoughts on Dyche? Just look how humble Mo is from the Blue Lounge. What a humble bloke. If only all Chelsea fans were as humble and gracious as you, mate. There's so much.
We're too busy infighting about Jorginho versus Kante and all of these great fun things and Mason Mount and all these fun stuff.
100%. But no, make sure you check out the Blue Lounge as well. Mo does good work. Let's go back to Sean Dyche, though, because you like him so much you copied his haircut, RJ. So I'm curious to know your thoughts, mate.
I reckon us and Stone Cold Steve Austin, Sean Dyche, it's all happening. But yeah, I agree with Rob. The timing was interesting. Obviously, they're trying to dig themselves out of the dark hole, but he's been there for such a long time. They extended his contract earlier in the season, I believe, and I just thought, I don't know, there's no one else they're going to bring in now that's going to give him that desired effect. So, yeah, it's a strange one for me. I do feel sorry for him, but the other day when we were talking about it, we kind of said why he's in his name in the chopping block because they've been perennial underachievers or underperformers despite the dross squad that they have. So when push comes to shove, it's a results-driven business and no one's safe. I think that's the key message here.
They're gone. They're finished. But 2 teams that aren't finished, Leicester and Aston Villa. Let's get your thoughts on that one, Robbie. Who's going to win it?
Villa for me, 2-0.
RJ?
Ooh, yeah, I like that. I like that one. Lock in a 2-0 for me as well.
I'm going 1-1 in this one. But let's look at City and Watford. City obviously very impressive this morning. We didn't mention them at the top of the show. And I think part of the reason we didn't mention them is because they did what we're so used to City doing. They dominated. They played brilliantly. They were phenomenal. This is what they do.
Maybe second half, Scott. They were near law half time. It wasn't a very straightforward but look, credit to them. with pressure on. At that point at halftime, Liverpool were above them at that time. So and to get the
they never
4-3 goal.
panic.
No, they don't panic, which is good. But it wasn't as easy as I know it was a 3-0 scoreline, but I said it was nil at halftime. It was hard to break them down. But once the first goal came, look, they rolled in. Kevin De Bruyne, it was amazing. He was played a part in all 3 goals. And look, for me, thank God City got the points again because I didn't like the look of Liverpool sitting on top, even if it was for a few minutes.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to say Man City to take this. I'm going to go 4-0. What about you, RJ?
I'm going to go bolder than that, pun intended, 6-0.
Ooh, wow.
This is the general feeling. And my man Andrew Pericelli calling it out too. Let's be real.
I'll go 3-0 again for City.
Okay.
Robbie, you've already won the tipping contest, mate. Go for some outlandish tip already.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm coming for you, Rob.
What's
Robbie,
that?
I'm coming for you, mate. I've been in. I think second half of the season, I've been in fine form.
You've been in great form, but you still haven't caught RJ yet. But you are coming.
It's coming. I'm on the way up. Norwich hosting Newcastle. I can't see anything other than a win for the Newcastle boys. I'm going to go with 1-0 to Newcastle. What about you, RJ?
I'll go for 2-0 to the Toon.
I'll throw a crazy one out there for you, RJ, and especially for the Newcastle boys. I'll go 4-0 Newcastle.
Woo! Love it. We got my man Karen here. Come on, you Gunners. Man, because you've tuned in a little bit late, you need to make sure you watch this back and listen to the talk. It was very interesting. It was a very good chat, so make sure you watch that back. Before we go to the next fixture, leave a like on the video, hit sub if you haven't already. I know there are a few new faces popping in and out, so make sure you do that. It really helps us. Brentford, hopefully they can really help us. And by us, I mean myself, Rob, RJ, by doing the business over Spurs. What's going to happen here, Rob?
2-1 Brentford.
Hope you're right. God, I hope you're right.
Honestly, I would not surprise me, mate. They've done Chelsea. They've done West Ham. They've been in great form.
They beat us.
Yep. Honestly, it would not surprise me at home. They're just bouncing at the moment. I really think that they're just about safe over the line. Spurs are the one that's got the pressure here. They're the one that are going to be heavy favourites. They're the ones that are fighting for top 4. If Brentford score first, mate, I reckon they can go and get this over the line. I'm just going to go with a 2-1 to Bees.
Roscoe.
You're saying what my heart wants, but my head says different. I think with Tottenham, what they're fighting for, I know they had that banana skin, that 1-0 loss against Brighton, but can't see that happening too often from here on in. I do think they're going to walk away with something. Draw, win. I'll go with a draw. I think a 1-1 in the end.
Look, I do think Spurs are going to win it, and I'm only going to tip them, not because I want them to win, but because I'm taking this tipping comp seriously. I'm not finishing last again. So I'm going to go with Spurs 2-1 to beat Brentford. Next one, Brighton Southampton. It's a double game week for the Saints. They've got a catch-up fixture. What's going to happen here, RJ?
What's going to happen here is an interesting game. I think it could generally go either way based on how the teams play. But Brighton at home, I think because of the fatigue for Southampton, I think they walk away with a 2-1 win here.
Robbie?
Sorry, bro. Brighton and Southampton. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
I am going to go with a ball draw, 0-0 in this one. Burnley Wolves. I think this is going to be a boring match as well, but Wolves should have enough. 1-0 Wolves. What about you, Arj?
Yeah, I agree with you, Scott. 1-0 Wolves.
Yeah, I'll go 2-0 Wolves.
Had to be different. Okay, Ross John. Another London derby. We saw how your team did in this morning's one, but fortunately for you, London is red, so it doesn't really matter who wins this. Who's going to take this match and why?
Well, when you put to the side all of the favourable penalty decisions that we got against us, I'm hoping, just kidding, of course, Arsenal too good. I still remember the horror show last time around, and Mendy gave away that freak goal. Mason Mount scored that unbelievable volley that doesn't get spoken about enough. I'm really wanting us to shake off those frailties because I don't want us to be dragged back into a battle for fourth spot. Only weak teams fight for that spot. But in all seriousness, I can see this really being a very, very tough game for us. And I wouldn't even be surprised by the end of it if we do draw. But just to bet with my heart a little bit, I'm going for a KG 2-1 win to the Chelsea.
Look, I'm watching you this morning. If you defend the way you did against us,
I will lose if that's the case.
They'll tear you open. But in all seriousness, that I massive props on Thomas Tuchel. I think he's a good manager, not elite, but a good manager. And I think you guys have to bounce back somehow. I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea, but I'm doing it very reluctantly. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I agree. 2-1 to Chelsea. I just can't see them. Well, if they would lose this, would it be 4 on a bounce at the Bridge?
At the Bridge, I know it's pretty grim. I'm not sure if it's because it's first time like 25 years, it's 3 in a row or something.
Yeah, I just don't see it continuing. I think they'll bounce back. I agree with the 2-1 to Chelsea.
You know what's a big part of it? I think Rudiger's still going to be out, and obviously you saw the defense this morning. Christensen's injured now, which is it's probably he was pretty average, wasn't he, Sarr? But even Mendy's been a bit loose at the back too. I'm just really keen to see what happens in that midfield situation because Kante and Jorginho have both been pretty underwhelming lately. Kovacic, our best midfielder, continues to be injured. So, West Ham, don't discount them by any means.
Interesting. Boys, we've got a Merseyside derby. With everything we've seen Liverpool do this season and even recently, I think the question is not if they will win, but by how much will they win? Unless any of you are going to tip a miracle result for Everton, how much do you think Liverpool are going to win this by, Rob?
Yeah, I think 3-0 again, this one.
RJ?
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough one for Frank and the Toffees. I could see between 3 and 4. I'm just going to be conservative and go 3-0 to Liverpool here.
I'm going to go 3-1 to Liverpool just to jazz it up, be a little bit different. Let's look at Palace hosting Leeds. Patrick Vieira's team were riding a wave, and now they've not been great. They've been in really poor form lately. I actually think Leeds are going to beat them. I'm going with Leeds 2-1. What about you, Robbie?
Fair show. Yeah, look, I agree with what you said, and Leeds have been good. Palace at home, but very hard. I'll go for a draw. I'm going to go 2-2, but
RJ?
I could see that. I could see a 2-2 draw. It's going to be a crazy game, I reckon. Very interesting on both sides. So, lock me for a 2-2.
Beautiful. Boys, that's all we're going to predict for this week. But we're going to have plenty to cover and unpack on Tuesday night. Before we get there, and it's nothing like being short, sharp, and sweet, we've got some quickfires to do, unless there's something you think I've forgotten.
Maybe the elephant in the room, mate. Arsenal versus United.
I knew I'd forgotten something. I knew it.
Because no one cares about 2 championship teams, mate. That's why.
Mate, you keep talking because you never know what the end of the season is going to look like for you.
I know. I've got to talk now, you see, because I don't want to risk it and to wait too long.
Mate, the salt is coming. The salt is coming through. He's so upset today. I love it. Let's look at this game, Robbie. We won't go too far into it because I think it's fair to say that both our teams have been inconsistent at best. When you look at form, we've probably been a little bit better than you. And on paper, you've got some quality players that just aren't performing. Where do you think this game's won and lost, though, Rob?
Look, man, to be honest, for starters, I want to see if we're going to have any players returning because there's still about 5 players on the injury list. And, as much as they're not in the best form, Luke Shaw, both our normal midfielders, McTominay, Fred have been out. Varane's been out. Ronaldo, he trained today, so there's a possibility he could return on the weekend. So, look, it just depends for me if we have our normal kind of team. Look, midfield is the thing. if you win the midfield, you win the game for me. That's the most important thing. Obviously, being clinical is a second thing. If there's chances created, you've got to put them away because half our season, especially towards the early part of the season, not lately, we created a lot of chances and didn't put nothing away, and that came back to haunt us. If Ronaldo always does love a goal against Arsenal, but again, we haven't beaten you guys at the Emirates since 2017 when Lingard had his little dance that night and we won 3-1. But look, again, we've both been in roller coaster. One up, one down. You guys lost last week and had a cracker against Chelsea, which I didn't expect today. We just got pumped last night, so I just don't know what to expect, mate. Again, it's one of these games like we all expect about United Liverpool, get up for the game. For me, one of my personal favorites growing up, United Arsenal. A lot of good memories. Obviously living in the past, but when we're both at our peak and both our managers going at each other, that's what I used to enjoy growing up. Because I'm in such a good mood, I'm looking forward to pre-game as well at the pub with you and the boys. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, if I'm going to be honest. I think there'll be goals. I think it could be, like I said, optional defending possibly, especially with Harry Maguire there. But an entertaining game. I don't think we'll get it over the line at the Emirates.
Famous last words, especially because I'm coming out to the city to watch the match with the Man United Supporters Club. So that's going to be a fun experience. I'll certainly be wearing a red jersey that night so I can blend in. But I'm actually feeling pretty confident. I'm actually feeling confident. Watching what we did to Chelsea this morning, just putting them on the ropes and wiping them off the pitch. Like the manager came out complaining about
down, mate. It was mistake central, mate. We beat ourselves, buddy.
Mate, you made the mistakes because we pressured you and played with such intensity. And if we can bring that level of energy to Man United, we'll beat you. I'm actually going 3-1 to the Arsenal. Probably me riding the wave of beating Chelsea. But if Ronaldo plays, though, different story. I think it'll be a draw. But to me, I don't see Ronaldo starting this game. I mean, with what happened to him and his family, and that's terrible.
I think he'll start, Scott. I honestly think he'll start this game. I was not expecting it, but like I said, after him training today, if he trains tomorrow, I honestly think he'll start on the weekend.
He loves to play Arsenal. He enjoys it, and you know what? If he does, the mental fortitude the guy has is something else. He's a combatant. He's an elite player. He's phenomenal. So if he plays, I think it'll be a draw, but I have to lock in a prediction. I am going to go 3-1. I just think your defense is so bad that even subpar strikers like Eddie or Laka will be able to punish you. So I'm going 3-1. But for me, I want to see exactly the same team that played against Chelsea. I want El Neni and Xhaka in the middle. Tavares is the only left back we've got. Potentially, you could chuck Saka left back. And put Pepe up there, but it's not going to happen. Arteta has no.
I haven't even remembered Saka. Pepe playing, man, and I reckon Saka at wing back is just a waste, bro. He's there to score goals.
Pepe's gone in the window because he's another one of them players that Arteta just doesn't rate him. Fair enough. If you don't rate him, don't play him, don't pay him, get rid of him. But it's just going to be another transfer where we lose a bunch of money. So. Yeah, I'm going 3-1 to the Arsenal. I'm hoping that the young boys can cook and really come out firing. But it'll be good fun. RJ, you're a neutral. What's going to happen here?
Yeah, both teams who've not very good at defending at the moment. You talked about this morning, but you got carved open plenty of times. Chelsea just weren't good enough to get the deal over the line. So I think United have got a decent enough attack, but they're just not very good defensively themselves. So from my point of view, I think it's going to be very exciting to watch. I reckon in the end, it will probably end up... Where's it at? Is it at the Emirates?
It's at the Emirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see them winning as a result. I reckon it's going to be 3-2 to the Gunners as a result.
Be happy with that. Be very happy with that. Boys, let's do some quick fires. I'm going to confess I haven't got mine ready yet. So if you want to go first, go for it, Robbie.
I'll chuck one out there since we're going to the pub on the weekend. Your favourite beer, boys, or favourite lager, whatever you want to say?
Mine is none because beer is garbage. I'm not a fan of it. I hate the taste. So, look, I'd just go a Canadian club, to be honest. I know it's not beer or lager, but I genuinely don't like it.
Yeah, it's a good shout, man. I'd go that. But if not, if I had to choose a beer, because it was a beer or lager question, not favourite other drink question, it would be Carlton Dry, to be honest.
I thought a tequila shot because you can have a bit of salt with that.
Oh,
yeah. You won a game, mate. It's almost like, imagine if you won the Champions League, or let's not get too far ahead. Imagine if you qualified for the Champions League. That would be something.
I don't want to force you to remember it, but, look, let's move on, Robbie.
Good one.
I'm getting the chips out because there's so much salt tonight. I'm loving it.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, look, for me, again, not a massive beer fan. I do love a Canadian, but if I had to pick a beer, Corona's the only one I'll have.
Okay. RJ, you got one?
Yeah, it's called Why Am I Salty or Not? No, just kidding. It's a football thing. It's a players responding to fans, like using Azpilicueta to go and express his frustrations. What do you think about players talking to fans after the game?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's a football thing for me. I'd do it if I was a player. I wouldn't do it every week, but if there was something I need to do, I would do it.
Okay.
Disgrace to me. Don't do it. Don't engage. It's not going to be good for your image.
No, blatantly disagree, because he didn't go and fly kick him in the crowd. He went and spoke to him, and the fans actually accepted what he had to say. Yeah. So I think it is a football thing.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys seen it as well after Derby got obviously relegated the other day. I don't know if you guys seen that little clip of when Rooney went out to thing, and if I was a fan, I'd appreciate him coming out, having a nice talk. We tried our best, whatever. But I really thought that was
it's an emotional sport. That's right. People want to hear from the players, so I think it's a good thing.
Mate, if I was a Chelsea fan, I would have appreciated Azpilicueta doing his talking on the pitch and not defending
not getting his arm pulled down to the ground. Fair enough.
That's what I would have appreciated. Not spear tackling players. Just go and play, mate. Go and play. Don't worry about talking. Do your talking on the pitch.
Oh, boy.
Just quickly, obviously, Derby got relegated, but just a quick thing. The first one back up for Fulham next year. Marco Silva, well done. It'll be nice to have Craven Cottage back in the Premier League.
They'll go back down.
So, yeah, it'll be good.
Yo-yo club. They're coming up and back down.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Yeah. Coming up. All right, boys. My one. Would you rather play your whole career in the A-League, but you win a World Cup with your country, or play your whole career for your club, so Man United, Chelsea, but you never win a World Cup?
Oh, that's easy for me. I would go play for my club without no World Cup.
RJ?
Yeah, I'd be the same. Longevity.
Yeah, look, I'd probably play for my club only because I make a bunch more money. And money talks. It's a short career for these guys. So, yeah. That is it for this evening. Tom, you're going to have to watch this one back on replay, mate. We spoke about United Arsenal at the end, and RJ had a little bit to say about Chelsea earlier on. So make sure you catch that and make sure you check these boys as well. Pericelli for good shout. Mitrovic for Fantasy Premier League next year. He's always a good cheapie. We'll certainly be talking about that. And Alex saying club for sure. So interesting, boys. It's been a good one, but we will be back on Tuesday night, and you don't want to miss it because Robbie and I will be watching the United Arsenal game together. We'll be watching it with the Man United Supporters Club. Anyone who says I don't rock up, mate, I'm going to watch it with them. So I'm ready. I'm going to have to fight Emad, I reckon. Him and me fighting. There'll probably be some footage going viral on the net, but, it should be good fun. But one of us is going to come back and probably be salty like RJ is tonight. So it should be good fun.
You're loving it, mate. I'm glad you showed up tonight, though. That was the most important thing. And it's timely that they won at the same time. So just a good convenience.
Well, convenient. Look, any final thoughts, RJ, before we end the stream?
No, it's been difficult to come and see your smug face and you Arsenal fans get excited. But you know what? As the show went on, the more fun it got. So thanks for having us, and let's come back on Tuesday.
That's it. Before we get your thoughts, Suri, thank you for joining in, even if it's late, man. Just make sure you chuck a like on the video. Sub if you haven't. But make sure you watch it back because there was some really good. I know you're an Arsenal man. We had some great Arsenal talk at the top of the show. So, and we previewed our game against United late. So check that out. Make sure you go back for that. Robbie, any final thoughts from you, champ?
Yeah, mate, look, obviously a bit of a buzz with the new announcement at the start of the show. And look, I genuinely am really looking forward to the weekend, mate. And a night at the pub is good. It's a bonus. You're going to be there, meet some of the boys, have a feed. That's my favourite part, mate. It's a football thing for me. So hopefully it's a good game. I'm hoping it's a good game because it'll be a long way home. And it'll be a long rest of the year, actually, if you guys get a good result over us. But yeah, looking forward to it. And we'll see you back on Tuesday night.
All right. Thank you for joining in. We will see you back on Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Take care. Enjoy your